Welcome to Unlock CX, the podcast where we explore innovating customer engagement, brought to you by Anywhere 365. We'll be talking with industry experts about great strategies that create memorable customer experiences. And now, let's unlock this episode. Hi, and welcome to a new episode of Unlock CX. I'm very happy that I'm not alone anymore this episode. Elise is back from Portugal. Yay! How was it?
Yeah, it was really good, but the weather was a bit disappointing this time around. But next time, hopefully better. Yeah.
Cool. Good to have you back. We're here together with a new guest, a very special guest, an Italian lady, Federica Foroni Lo Faro. I hope that I pronounced it correctly.
Perfectly.
Good. And we're going to talk about CX in the financial industry. It's an industry where a lot is happening, a lot's on the move, and I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Very happy to be here.
Great. So you have a lot of experience in the financial industry, right? So you're currently self-employed. You work for several companies. You've been a director at IG&H. Can you describe a bit about your background?
Yes, and if you allow me, I will start from when I came here to the Netherlands, because then I came here with the Netherlands for my study, philosophy. The exact part of philosophy, semantic logic, AI as well. It was a long time ago, before AI was one of the best products that we were using every day.
When was this?
20 years ago.
Right.
And it was in Amsterdam by the University of Amsterdam.
UvA.
The UvA, the ILLC. It was an interdisciplinary institute with for philosophy, mathematics, informatica, and linguistics. And they were working together, actually founding the basic of what we now see of AI. But I was just a philosophy student coming here from an Erasmus, and then I fell in love with the city. I fell also in love with a guy, which helps. And then I remained here, and I wrote my thesis, and I started working in the digital industry for an agency. And then I had different roles then there, and I've learned a lot about digital marketing, making websites, making all kind of digital products. And then at a certain point, I also worked for bol.com in the e-commerce. And then I started for myself. And so you would say, why finance? But actually, my passion is really digital. And finance is the only industry where also the product is digital. So when you work, for instance, for e-commerce, which is one of my love, you always have this struggle. That you have, at the end, the package needs to be brought. Yeah. But in a financial sector, the sky is the limit. You can do everything because money is digital.
Right. And so on your LinkedIn profile, you're mentioning CX with a beating heart. And that really caught me, because when I think of the financial industry, I think of compliance, I think of regulatory affairs, I think of very very factual communication. But you're talking about CX with a beating heart. What does that mean for you?
Yeah, exactly. You are really touching a very interesting point, because everyone thinks about finance and compliance. And compliance is a very important part of it. And in this world is even more important. But of course, is also our struggle if we want to have a seamless experience, having to work with compliance. And the beating hearts, to me, comes because the product is digital. You are always able to, in my perspective, to put the effort and the ambition in creating the seamless experience that helps really people to, before using the product, to understand the product, because the financial products are a very complex product that people do not understand.
No.
And that really are essential for our living. So for buying houses, for having a pension, for not becoming poor. I mean, of course, everyone thinks of, it's about making a lot of money. But there are in this society many people that are really depending on certain product, and we very often forget it. So in finance, you have always this struggle, which is actually very much polarized about wanting to be sure to do the things right, meaning having it compliance right, having the client that is not like a part of a terroristic party, and also, which is much more important for the majority of people, being able to buy a house, being able to understand what they are buying. And this is what I mean with a beating heart. I really think that everyone in the financial sector should have a beating heart, and that organizations should be also able to test if people have a beating heart.
Yeah.
Yes, but like, how would you then do that, right? So, because great, they need to have a beating heart. Well, it used to be that you would go to the bank, you needed money, and you would get it from a cashier at the bank. That all changed, of course. But how can we then still make sure that also in the financial sector there is still a beating heart in all your? Because when I open my app, I don't. There's no human touch to it, right? My banking app.
Yes, that's right. You're totally right. There is not yet a beating touch, and I think that we can do a lot much better. I will take, for instance, for the apps that you use to pay. Tikki is a very good example. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a kind of beating heart, with a. Also, thank you very much that you paid. So in the UX, you can really, and it doesn't have anything to do with compliance, you can really make the best of it, but you have to want to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. So for the people who don't know Tikki is a Dutch app, right? I don't think that it's available outside the Netherlands. And it's kind of a peer-to-peer payment solution.
Exactly.
And it was by ABN AMRO, I think. It came from them.
Yeah.
But you could also, because we all had this problem sometimes when we went out for dinner and, going Dutch when you split the bill.
Yeah,
So then you wanted to get your money because one of the people had, paid the bill. Then you wanted to get your money back. And then people would say, I have a really hard time. I didn't have the account number correct, blah, blah. So what it did actually is that you could already fill that in. The one that paid, send it then to the people that owed you. And then they could immediately pay it without any excuse because the amount was correct and the bank account number. And then it was back on you. So yes, that solved the going Dutch problem. That's really, I was in Italia, totally agree with the going Dutch. And what I like about Tikki is because there are other, for instance, I remember when I was I worked at Knap. Knap is the Dutch bank, which one of the newest banks. And at the time, they were really very much in actually, it was the first online bank, fully digital. So they were also working at a project to have some kind of Tikki. So it was paying through social at the time. And what I like about Tikki is that the UX is really very seamless, and you get always a gratification about everything what you do. And this is what I mean also about beating heart. To make another example, I see, for instance, in Holland, usually UX is. There are in finance is very much about functions. So you have like a functionality, a use case you have to implement, and then you have to do it, and then the programmers will do it, and the designers come and they make some nice pictures. But this is not what I mean about a beating heart. What I mean is that you don't think about the functional UX case, but you think about what is the perspective from a person that is using this. For instance, I don't know now the English name about hypotheken. It's
mortgages.
Mortgages, exactly. Mortgages is a beautiful product. It's really, I love it. And I'm really sorry that one of my regrets is that they never worked for a project for a mortgage. So if someone there wants to do something magical, please call me, because I will. No, but mortgage is something that is very emotional. And it's also very important because you have a long-term investment. People are not able to think about long-term investments, so you need to help them. And you are also able to, you can, during the time, you need to manage this mortgage. No one does it because the mortgage is something that you pay every month. But if you start also paying more, you will have less costs. And in the Netherlands, is not you are not able to have this view, long-term view. So you are not able to take long-term decisions, which is something that I find not even lacking beating heart, but also dangerous from a financial perspective for people. In Spain, for instance, you have other kind of apps where you really can see what you will pay, what you have paid, what is the part that you pay for as a rent, as an interest rate, and what is the part that you pay as a mortgage. Yeah. And then you can take much more decisions. So this is what I mean with beating heart is not only doing things like Tikki, very nice, that people really get a smiley, but also help people being able to be financial savvy, financial healthy, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm very happy I have my partner for that. Yeah. He's the beating heart in my customer experience with the mortgages. But about Tikki, because maybe people don't know, because of course you think, hey, I paid, then you pay, and indeed there's a thank you. But just for people that don't know, you can actually make like a personal thank you note, or like a photo or a GIF that makes that says, hey, thank you. So what I did was, for instance, a thumbs up, and then thank people that they paid. Make
I have
that
dancing
GIF.
People.
And that makes it personal. So then it's fun to pay. And then sometimes you don't get the response, hey, I paid. People would say, oh, that's a very funny gift that you're using. And instead of it maybe sometimes hurting that they needed to pay, they actually like the outcome of when they paid.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I still feel that it's not common in the sector, right? So, I mean, we're all customers of banks and insurance companies. And I feel that a lot of, my daughter just turned 18. She received an email from her bank, from our bank. And that said, like, and the subject title was, hey, you're turning 18. I was like, oh, that's nice. But then the email was all about, like, hey, you're turning 18. This means that you can't use your youth account anymore, and you need to start paying for an adult one, right? And it was so blue, and I was like, why? And she came to me because she knows that I do things with CX, and she asked me, can't they do better? Is this like... And I feel that that's a lot of the experiences with banks, but also insurance companies. Like if I crash my car, I call the insurance company, and I'll just be in a waiting queue for 10 minutes, and then go to another agent. And so how can you implement that beating heart into the core of the organization? Yeah, because I know that you've done some of this also with Bright Pensions.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a very good. It's really recognizable what you are saying. You know, you have the chance to have that one email that makes people fall in love with your bank, and you just miss it because you cannot. You have to explain what are the rules. It exactly is this blue color which is prominent, and this is also the solution because very very funny. You can do really a lot in the financial sector, really a lot. The problem, I think, in how people work is that you have like silos, thinking of, okay, we have to write an email, someone writes an email, and then it has to go to be checked by compliance. And what I usually say, and compliance needs to be sure, that, and then you have like the people, the process. Yeah, we need to say this because, and whereas if if you put finance up front and you know always what are the rules, and everyone embrace the rules of finance, of process, and from then builds the magic, thinks the magic, I think we can really make a much better result. So it's really about working together and having this ambition together. And it doesn't have anything to do with not following the rules that, of course, we have to follow.
Yeah.
And the good example about Bright Pension. Bright Pension is, for the one that do not know, is a scale-up in the pension sector. And everyone thinks, pension?
Yes.
And scale-up, the advantage of a scale-up is that it's small, and that you always get an immediate direct feedback from the people. And also from a scale-up perspective, you have to sell. And sell pension, I can really assure you, is hard stuff to do, because no one wants a pension. Actually, everyone wants it, but no one wants to buy it.
Yeah.
And what was nice about a Bright Pension is that Bright Pension has a very peculiar, actually unique governance structure, in which as a client you are also you have also shares. You have, so Bright is also part of your you own a bit of Bright. And we thought we have to explain this, but this was something that is very complicated to explain. But what it does is that people finds that
they're more engaged.
They are more engaged.
Yeah.
And you can start a collaboration in looking, really understanding what is really driving people. What are they not wanting to know about pension, because most of the things you don't want to. And how can we make it in a way, how can we tailor the product in a way that people really understand what pension is. And we it was about 3-4 years ago, we were at the beginning. And there were certain things that we did that were never, that was the first time in the Netherlands that a company was taking these steps. And the AFM, for the one that do not know, is the control...
Autoriteit
Financiële Markten.
Yes.
The one that control if you really, the compliance mother that controls if you're doing right. And they were looking, and they were very much admiring the fact that we were trying to do things, putting the client in front of everything, because we do it for the client. And the compliance was something that, of course, we had to deal with it, to take respect, but it's not something that is leading. Leading is the client.
Yeah, and I feel that. So I'm a customer of Bright, right?
That's
so
very nice too.
And I can testify that this is really, like, the experience is so different from all the other pension funds that I've been. I mean, so you go to another employer and you get assigned a new pension fund. There's no relationship whatsoever with them. So they're organizing webinars where they actually ask for input. One of the things that I like about it is that, like, you have an online environment where you can see not from day to day, but month to month, what are the results of my pension portfolio, and how am I doing? Where will I land in? So I'm 40, so that's going to be in the next 27 or 30 years. So what is my pension? And do I need to bring in extra money to ensure that I have enough then? And for me, that's the only thing that matters. I don't care about pensions. I don't care about regulatory things. It's like the ease of mind, or the peace of mind that it gives. And that's quite unique, I think. And
what I hear here as well is a lot of simplification, right?
Yeah.
Because if you were to ask me, hey, how is your pension fund doing? I have no clue. I don't know where to see it. I know that I can do a login online with, like, the government, but that's it. But here you're really taken into that journey together with Bright, like, and they say, okay, this is what it's going to do. This is what is, what your pension has done in the past months. So I think, that makes it, because for me, it's like, okay, I put something in the black box and I'll see what I get out of it when I turn 68, maybe 70, 72. Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it's like the best choice, right? There could be other pension funds that outperform them. I don't know, but that's also, so I mean, I want to talk about Melodoni. So one of the projects, a side project of yours, I think, is a website, Melodoni. Maybe you can probably explain better what it is than I can.
Yes. Well, Melodoni is I call it in the Netherlands is a speeltuin, which is there is no word I think in English.
Playground.
It's a playing ground. It's my playing ground, and it's like a fascination I have since I was a child, and it's about giving, not really giving gifts. Very 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 bad and maybe basic. But I do think that giving gifts to others is a basic need as eating and health, and is also a language that we have to decode. Because giving a gift, you give someone something that you chose, so you are saying something. Even if you are not aware of it, you are saying something. So there are also many blunders. If you give a wrong gift, it's really unforgivable. And when I was, during my working time, I was learning about digital and CX with a beating heart and all the things that I really love. And, for work, you always have this struggle with what we thought about also in financial about, okay, this is what I think we should do. But of course, we have to compromise. So I wanted to have a playing ground where I was, of course, I had to compromise because I don't have money and, you don't have people. But I did not want to compromise on the actually the core of my playing ground, on the concept. And the concept is about helping people to take time to give the perfect gift. And to give time is because I made a lot of research, and I thought at the beginning that giving a gift, that the problem that people had was, I want to give a gift, but I don't have time. So e-commerce would be the solution. You buy a gift online, and within now and then in the Netherlands, you get it the day after, or maybe even the same day. In your house. But the problem that people had was about inspiration, and inspiration takes a lot of time because you have to go around and you see 90% of the things you see is exactly not what you want to give, and then you see this 1% perfect gift, but it takes a lot of time that we don't have. So I wanted to solve that problem, and I made a lot of research about how this works, and also what is a gift. This is also something interesting because the value of a gift, and every professor and paper, also academic paper, economic academic paper would confirm this. The value of a gift is not how much you spend, but is how much time you spend thinking of the person. So the match, the emotional, the heart-beating match is what it's all about. And so I tried to make a website in which you really have a lot of kind of gifts, not only products, but things that you make yourself, that you cook yourself, and that you can choose depending on what you think of the person. So how the person is, but not only functional, this age and man or woman, which is, by the way, totally irrelevant, and other things. But you also can think, look, what this person has, doesn't have, would like to be, doesn't want. So much more into what do I really want to tell to this person this time.
Yeah, and so what I find interesting about it, because there's a couple of checkboxes that you can tick, right? And then you can look for a gift. But the parallel with the financial industry is, like, I think that it hits the nail on the head, or I'm not sure if that's how you say it, but like, because I feel that there's a lot of communication from financial industry to their customers, that's organization led. It's like, we need to do this, and then without really thinking about what is my customer, what is their goal, what are they trying to achieve, why are they here, why are they my customer. Exactly, so spending, I mean, I'm not saying that people in the industry don't spend time, right? But I'm wondering if they're spending enough time on the personal or the heartfelt, empathetic side of their communication.
Yeah. Well, at my time at IGNH, I saw, and also when I was at Club and, during my advisory work, I do see that there are many research done. So it's not, that company do not make research. But then you get this PowerPoint, and then you read the PowerPoint, and this is not kind of beating. So, and I think that the world is going the right direction, because there are much younger people coming and having learned what design thinking really is it. But for me, and this is something it's like part of the work I do, is not about design thinking, at least not only about design thinking, but it's about design doing.
Right.
And doing things is totally different. So if you want to, it's the difference, if you have a child and you design thing how to change the diaper, you would be able to change the diaper. But if you want to design do the diaper, you will maybe think while changing the diaper and tickling your child. And this is exactly the difference. This is the beating heart. And then you get a relationship. And in making, in the normal work, also in finance, this is exactly the 1% that makes the whole difference. Yeah. So the email that your daughter got is exactly this. There was no tickling. There was no singing.
Absolutely none, no. Exactly.
So I think that there, even without, and compliance would really not say you cannot tickle, you cannot sing it's not about compliance. Compliance would say, this is your job. As long as you check, you make the know your client procedure right.
Right.
So it's also really strange if you think about it, because I think there was a research that actually banks and financial have the longest customers. So customers are the most loyal to banks, because usually it's for a lifelong. And it's so strange actually, how long have I been a customer and what actually are my touch points, or what do I actually know about the financial institution that I'm with, right? And it's so, but maybe that's also one of the things that makes them lazy into investing it. And this is only an assumption. I've not done any research into it, but it, because it is already a loyal customer, you don't really have to invest in it.
Yeah. I also think that, I've worked in the financial industry myself, and so lately, I've been talking to some former colleagues of mine, and I think that there is a shift going. I think that banks, insurance companies, maybe a bit less, but bigger financial institutions, they had the luxury of not having to care, right? Or at least the office, like a local office, would care about that customer, but headquarters maybe not so much. And I think that is changing, or maybe has changed. Because I hear my former colleagues talk about customer intimacy programs.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because, for instance, at the Bright pension, there was something strange that I said, our clients are not clients, but they are our members, because Bright pension is the only financials that works on a membership basis, so you don't pay because of the money that you have, the equity, but exactly. Yeah. You pay like just per year, and then all investment is like a cost price. So I thought, members, you want to welcome them, so let's phone them. And at the beginning it was phone every client to welcome them. I said, yes, of course, because then we can know also how do they feel, why do they choose for us, what can we do with them. It's really great, because if we do it, we don't need to spend money in having research. No. We speak with them, and at the beginning it was like kind of, we are scale up, we don't have enough people, but we do it all the time, and Bright does it all the time, and this is so gold.
Yeah, so, I can imagine. And as we're moving to the end of this conversation, I'd like also to touch upon AI.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're seeing there's a lot of noise about AI, right, in the market, also in customer experience. How do you see, I'm not sure how to ask this, but like, is there a use case where you see like where AI, generative AI would take over that role of...
Exactly. I love this question. Yes, there are many use cases, and I would say please start before than late. Start now, because, for instance, in the pension sector, just one very concrete use case. What I said, welcome people. If you are very big, you cannot do this. APG has 6 million clients, participants of the funds. You cannot welcome them all. But so with AI, you have the possibility to scale a lot, and AI is really able to have conversations that we would not be able to have otherwise. Also, what AI has the possibility to be much more diverse and inclusive than we are ourselves. We always think that, we are so inclusive. But if you look at the world from how we did it, digital, then Africa is not existing, and Europe is extremely big. So there are certain inequity that we do while we deal with people. And for instance, pension funds have a lot of people that do not speak Dutch, do not speak even English, maybe speak Arabic, maybe speak only Poland. So, and only this is a very concrete case, right. Even if you have a minority of people, they could read with their own language. And also it's about pension. So also if someone dies, you want to have a kind of different dialogue. So being able also to have like a warm word in your language is very important. Yeah. We also tested this when I was at IGNH. We had a prototype, and we tested how is it possible if someone dies that AI is able to have a dialogue full of empathy. And you would be surprised about how really it was well done. And we used like only ChatGPT, the 3 point, I don't know what. Yeah, so it was not even the last part. So, and we just used a couple of prompts and not much, but it was really good. So very promising.
Yeah, and I can imagine that in that case, so I created a framework for AI deployment. I call it the human framework, because I really feel that a human in the loop is also like super important. But I can imagine that when a family member dies, or my wife would die, I don't want to speak to a person. If I call, like, for example, for like life insurance or whatever, I just need the information, and I'm probably way too emotional to go into a conversation.
Exactly. Usually it is like this, a conversation can be chit-chat, 2 words, and that's it. And sometimes it becomes a very emotional conversation. You cannot know it up front. You cannot write it in the, communication preferences that we all have to fill in. Yeah. And with AI, you are able to tune where people want to go and to remain from a chat, to switch into a person. So the technique is really a very big enabler with AI now. You can really, you can do everything. So no excuse.
All right, let's build more empathetic AI, because I think that
use
everyone,
it. Yeah.
Also that, because I can imagine that most of the experiences with AI, for example, chatbots on a like whichever website you go on, it feels like a very standalone experience. It's not integrated with other parts of the communication ecosystem. But I truly believe that there's a ton of value lying ahead for the people who want, who want to spend that time, right, and to make decisions and build something that actually makes sense and makes their customers happier.
Of course. If you may allow me just an example about pension, if I think that AI and also data-driven UX, CX is very important because, for instance, if people die in the Netherlands, you got everything, all data are connected with each other. So you got from the government, you get the information. So every pension funds will send you a letter. And this letter may be empathic, but you get this letter together with thousands of other letters, also of the insurance of the car that needs to be, I don't know what, and they all come in the same week, which is 1 week after the person died. So I think that one of the challenges is not only per organization, but to look into the whole experience of one person and to be able to react on it.
Yeah. So super interesting to hear that. And we always end with one last question. And so we also have this question for you from the people that you know or the people that you follow on LinkedIn, or who are, like, who do you believe should really, who do we need to invite in this podcast as a next guest?
Yeah. Well, first of all, if I think of really CX with a beating heart, I always think of the of restaurants or hotel or this kind, going to Sicily or to Puglia. I was in Sweden. There is a totally different CX, but also there they do it very well. If you would like to, there is really experience for everyone. And if you want to invite someone, I believe that CX with a beating heart needs to be attached with clients, with people, to speak with people. So usually I always start from people. And there is Miriam Martinus is the founder of Winegum. And Winegum is a very good, a company. I don't know how to say, but I would invite her definitely because she has a very different way of looking of client service.
Yeah.
And she looks at client service not as a cost part of the company, that you have to avoid people calling, but the central part of a company. And she has a consultancy, small consultancy firm, and she's really able to help companies in making the client central by using the custom service.
Wow, that sounds like a perfect guest for Unlock CX.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being our guest today. Thank you for listening, for watching, for tuning in for this episode. Stay tuned for the next one because we're not done yet exploring innovative customer engagement strategies. Don't forget to leave us your review or leave your thoughts in the comments below. And we'll hope to see you next time. That's a wrap for this episode of Unlock CX, brought to you by Anywhere 365. Did you enjoy it? Leave us a review and share your comments. Oh, and be sure to subscribe as we continue to explore customer engagement strategies that unlock memorable experiences.